Hello, everyone. I'm Esperanza and this is Art from the Heart of St. Augustine's Church. And we are still doing the sessions remotely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So, right now for this session, we are going to apply layering, and we are going to do it in this style. So, we are going to paint flowers, and these flowers are not going to be there won't be any sketch on the paper. We will just be painting it directly, and we must start with the lighter color. I'm not sure if you can see the yellow flowers in the background. I think it's too light to be seen on the screen, but there are yellow flowers in the background, followed by this pinkish ones, which is diluted red paint, and then light blue, then red, then blue, and then black. So the color transitions from light to dark as it goes from back to front. So that's what we're going to do. And we'll start with yellow. So I'm just going to get some yellow paint, and I am going to paint it directly on the paper. And we start by painting this curve, and then this sort of jagged top. So this is facing you, so this is the bottom of the flower, and then I'm going to paint the stem going down. Well, let me just paint that again so that you can see it on your screen. I know it's a bit faint, but you would be able to see it, and later on you would be seeing the other layers as well. So just several yellow flowers. So we just continue to do this until we think we have enough flowers. And we can also paint the branch and add the flower to that, like so. Another branch, another flower, and we'll add one for this as well. And now it's time to let it dry. Now, drying this might take a few minutes, especially if the air is a bit humid. So let's give it some time. And once it's completely dry, that's the only time we should paint over it. Otherwise, the paint will bleed into each other. So let's let it dry. Okay, the yellow paint is now almost dry. There are still some areas which have not dried completely. So what I'm gonna do is just to avoid those areas for now. So what I'm gonna use is diluted red paint, and I am going to paint this type of flowers that look more like stars. So let's do that. So here I have that, then this, and then that, and then that. And then I'm just going to draw this line here. And then I'm just going to paint over the yellow one. So again, another one. It looks like a cross, and then another cross over it. And then let's give it some leaves like so. That's one. And then we'll do the same thing here. So we'll start with the flower, and then we'll do the stem, then another stem, and from that one we would paint our next flower, and then another stem here, like so, and then again across for the next flower. And then we're going to give it some leaves. One leaf, two, three. Okay, perfect. Now we'll do the next one. Okay, for the next one, I'll start here. like so. And I'm going to paint it right on top of this yellow one. And I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to put some leaves on it. And then on this side as well. Okay, for this one there's too much paint, so I'm just going to lift that. Probably lift this one as well. Okay, and another leaf here. So let's add one more here, just for balance. So let me do a low one. And then the stem. And then the leaf. And again, I'm going to lift the excess paint. And just like the yellow ones, I'm just going to let it dry. Now I painted this one a bit thinner than the yellow one, so this should dry faster. Okay, the next color I'm going to use is blue. By the way, you don't have to use the same color I'm using. You can use any color as long as it's from light to dark. So the next color would be blue. I'm just using ultramarine. And for this one, I will paint these petals curving downwards, and then like so. I'll make it a little bit bigger. I think this is too small. That's better. Okay, I find this too light, so I am going to darken it first. That's much better. And then of course the stem, and then the leaves. And then I'm going to paint another one here. Let's paint it over here. And then the stem, and then again the leaf. I need to make it a bit pointed, I mean the tip. And then here, okay, I want to fill this area, so I'm going to make a nice blue flower here. And then again the stem, and then the leaf. Okay, another one here. So I'm just going to paint that over the yellow flower, like so. And then the stem. And then the leaves. And I do find it too light. I want to give it some dimension. I'm going to get some black paint and just drop it here at the tip. Just at the tip. Just to give it more character. And then what I'm going to do is to lift the excess paint on the petals. So this one first. And as you can see here, if you could see the overlap, it looks more green, like so. Oh, fantastic. So we now have 1, 2, 3 types of flowers. Now, I will paint more red flowers, and this time I will use darker red paint. And I am going to paint this type of flowers, like berries. Okay, so I am going to use this. And I am going to paint the stems first for this one. So the main stem. And then now the flowers. So there we go. And then here as well. And then another one here. And now I'm just going to make circles here at the end of those stems. Oh, beautiful. And then I'm going to make another one over here. Probably a little bit smaller. So again, main stem. And then, okay, now for the berries, I need smaller stalks for those. And now the berries themselves, they're gonna look like this now. Okay, that's wonderful. So now we have 4 types of flowers. Oh, I think I just smudged the blue one. Let me just do a repair for that. So I'm just painting that with blue. I cannot repair the yellow part because it's yellow. Apologies for that. Yeah, again, you have to be careful not to smudge the paint on your art piece. And this is my favorite, this type of flowers. So before we paint those, I will get cerulean blue and mix it with some black paint. And then we will start painting. So to paint that, I would first make these lines, which corresponds to this. They don't have to be continuous lines. They can be broken lines. And then I am going to dab my brush here. And then join them together. And then now I am going to paint the stem. Okay. I should have painted it over the red bit, but since it's still wet, I can't do that because they are going to bleed into each other. So I can't do that. I'm just going to drop some more paint here just to give it more dimension. And then I am going to paint another one here where it's dry. And now time to balance, time to dab. and then the stem. Okay, next I'm going to do the same thing in this area over here. So we just keep on continuing to do that. Again, dab, join them together, and then let me just turn it. Okay, if I let it pass through, it would bleed a little bit. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing here in this part. So, like so. And then dab the paint. Connect them all together. And then the stem. So let's do 2 more. So shall we do 2 more? Yes. Let's do 1 more. Let's do 1 over here. And we'll leave this part as it is. So for this one, again, it's the same process. Again, we dab it. Oh, look, that's fantastic. Then join this bottom bit. And then from there, we paint the stem. Fantastic. So we now have all these flowers together. Now the last bit uses black, and that is the darkest in my set of colors. Let me just clean my brush. I know I've used blue, and it's just good practice to clean the brush before using another color, even if it's from a light color to black. Okay, for the black one, I'm going to paint something like, more of like, not a daffodil, more of like a poppy. So a little bit more open than the yellow one we did earlier. And then don't forget the stem. Okay. And then here, we'll have that one. And then we'll have another one here. Okay, beautiful. Now I would like to put another one here. Maybe a smaller one, like more of like a bud. And here, a fully bloomed one. And then they will be joined together to one stem. Okay, oh, fantastic. Oops, this is just becoming so beautiful. Now I'm going to draw my last one here. Okay, and then let's give it a stem. Let me see. It looks balanced. No, we should put another one here. Apologies for that. But maybe just a small one, like bud, or not a fully bloomed one, like so. And then we'll just give it some leaves. Okay, I'm going to give this one a leaf as well. This one. And that's it. And we have painted our flowers, and we've applied layering again. So we have one more session on layering, and the next layering would be again a landscape. I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'm looking forward to see you again in the next session. Bye bye.